Namaste, Hamesha Khushro Bitia. I am JVN Dr. Minakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Today in this session, we will discuss the disease known as glaucoma. What is glaucoma? That we will discuss in a later session, but today it's important to know the anatomy and related physiology. What is the pathophysiology of glaucoma, and the what applied anatomy is important. Then pathophysiology of glaucoma revolves around the aqueous humor dynamics. The principal ocular structures concerned with it are ciliary body, angle of anterior chamber, and aqueous outflow system. So it is essential to understand the production and the drainage of aqueous humor as well as the anatomy of the angle of anterior chamber is very important. Then only we can understand the disease glaucoma. Before that, we have to understand what is the ciliary body. It is a forward continuation of the choroid at the oris serrata. Ciliary body is a part of the uvea tissue, which is the second tunic of the coat of the second coat or tunic of the eyeball, and it is triangular in shape. The anterior side of triangle forms the part of the uh, angle of anterior and posterior chambers. The anterior part about 2 mm having a finger-like ciliary projections processes is called the pars plicatum, and the posterior part about 4 mm is called the pars plana. Here you can see in this image, this is the ciliary body. It is the pars plicatum part, and this is the pars plana part. There are the 5 layers of ciliary body, like the supraciliary lamina, the outermost, then stroma, then pigmented epithelium, then non-pigmented epithelium, and the innermost is the internal limiting membrane. These are all the layers of ciliary body, and this is the ciliary body. Is the pars plana part of ciliary body. It is the pars plicatum part of ciliary body. And the pars plicatum has these finger-like projections. These are called the ciliary processes, and these ciliary processes are responsible for the aqueous humor production. Then the second important thing is the angle of anterior chamber. This angle of anterior chamber plays an important role in the process of aqueous drainage. And to form that angle of anterior chamber, few structures are important. It is formed by the root of iris and the anteriormost part of ciliary body, scleral spur, trabecular meshwork, and Schwalbe's line, which is the prominent end of the Descemet's membrane of cornea. The cornea has how many layers? It has around 6 layers, and the Descemet's membrane is an layer of cornea. These are the structures. This is the root of iris. Then anterior part of the ciliary body, scleral spur. This is a scleral spur. It is a trabecular meshwork, and then there is the Schwalbe's line. So these are structures from the angle of anterior chamber. Then this angle width varies in different individuals and plays a vital role in the pathomechanism of different types of glaucoma. Clinically, the angle structures can be visualized by gonioscopic examination, and then we'll study the gonioscopic grading of the angle width. The various systems have been suggested to grade angle width. The most commonly used is the Schaeffer system of grading, and this is given in this table. First is the grade 4, in which the angle width is 35 to 45 degree and the configuration is wide open. The chances of angle of closure of the angle of anterior chamber is nil. The structures visible will be shell base, line, trabecular meshwork, scleral spur, and the ciliary body band, which is called the CBB. So these all structures will be visible. In case of the grade 3, the ankle width will be 20 degree to 35 degree and the configuration will be open angle, and the chances of closure of angle of anterior chamber is nil. The structures visible will be swell base, line, trabecular meshwork, scleral spur, and the ciliary body band will not be visible. Then in the grade 2nd, the angle width is 20 degree and the configuration is moderately open, and chances of closure of angle of anterior chamber is possible. Only two structures will be visible, that is swell base line and the trabecular mesh. And grade 1st, the angle width is 10 degree and the configuration is very narrow. The chances of closure of the angle of anterior chamber are highly likely, and the structures visible will be shell base line only. And the last is the grade 0 and the angle width is 0 degree and configuration is closed, and the chances of closure of angle of anterior chamber are very much possible, and the angle will be closed and no structure will be visible. This is a gonioscopic examination. How we'll do the gonioscopic examination? This is a gonioscope, and here are the mirrors placed over this. And this is how we will be able to see the iridocorneal angle. The angle of anterior chamber will be visible through gonioscope. There is a gonioscope mirror placed here, and there will be reflection of light. So this is how we'll be able to see the image of the iridocorneal angle. Then there is a diagrammatic representation of the various angle structures. Here you can see the grade 4, grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, grade 0. In grade 4, you'll be able to see these structures. In grade 3, you will see two lesser structures will be visible, and at grade 0, no structure will be visible. As a more another Schaeffer system grading angle width images there, I have shown there. Here is a degree 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 degree. Maximum structures will be visible, and in grade 0 no structure will be visible. And then we come to the aqueous outflow system. The third important thing which matters in the principle of ocular structures are the aqueous outflow system. It includes the trabecular meshwork, Schlemm's canal, collector channels, aqueous veins, and the episcleral veins. Here is an image of the aqueous outflow system. We will discuss here. There's a trabecular meshwork. So trabecular meshwork, it is a sieve-like structure through which aqueous humor leaves the eye. It consists of three portions: uveal meshwork, corneoscleral meshwork, and juxtacanalicular meshwork. This is the trabecular meshwork. You can see it is a sieve-like structure, and through this sieve-like structure, aqueous humor, which is formed in by the ciliary processes, will leave the eye through this process. Okay, these are the uveal meshwork, the corneoscleral meshwork, and these are the juxtacanalicular meshwork. The first is a uveal meshwork. It is the innermost part of trabecular meshwork and extends from the iris root and ciliary body to shell base line. Sorry, I will discuss. It will take time, so trabeculoplasty we will discuss in the next session. Okay, thank you so much. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.
Doctor, which is the one third of the total refractive power of the eye. Sorry, it is a three-fourths of the total refractive power of eye. That is, the total refractive power of eye is 60 diopter, and that of cornea is 45 diopter. Then the histology, there are 6 layers: anterior epithelium, Bowman's membrane, central stroma, Dua's layer, Descemet's membrane, endothelium. You can see in this image the epithelium, Bowman's layer, stroma, Dua's layer, Descemet's layer, and endothelium. First, the epithelium. The cornea epithelium is stratified, squamous, and non-keratinized. It is continuous with conjunctival epithelium at limbus, but having no goblet cells. Thickness is 50 to 90 micrometer. Consists of 5 or 6 layers of nucleated cells resting on a basal lamina, namely the basal cells, wing cells, and the surface cells. The basal lamina is secreted by the basal cells. It is 0.1 to 1 micrometer wide. Ultrastructurally, it is distinguished in two parts: lamina lucida and lamina densa. Lamina lucida is superficial, lamina densa is deep osmophilic. Then epithelial turnover. The early study suggested that the epithelium replaced approximately weekly by division of basal cells and the older shell from the surface. It is now recognized that the germinative region lies at the limbus. The stem cells and the cells migrate at a very slow rate to the center of cornea, which may be as long as the ear. Second layer, the Bowman's membrane. It binds the corneal stroma anteriorly with basement membrane of epithelium. It is not a true elastic membrane. Once destroyed, does not regenerate. Shows considerable resistance to infection and injury. Third layer is the stroma, which is 0.5 mm thick. The stroma or substantia propria occupies about 90% of the total corneal thickness, composed of corneal collagen fibrils, keratocytes, and extracellular ground substances. The lamellae are arranged in many layers, 200 to 250, and are parallel to each other. The anterior one-third stroma has a lamella are thin, and in the posterior two-third of the stroma, the lamellae are larger. Next layer is the Dua's layer, which was discovered by Dr. Harminder Singh Dua at the University of Nottingham in 2013. It is a fourth layer which is 15 microns thick. It is a strong layer and impervious to air. The fifth layer is the Descemet's membrane. It is a strong homogeneous layer. It is a basement membrane of endothelium made up of the collagen and glycoproteins. It is elastic. It can regenerate. It has a resistance to chemical agents, infection, and pathological processes. The peripheral rim of Descemet's membrane is the internal landmark of the corneal limbus, and also it is the anterior limit of the trabecular measure, which is called the Schwalbe's line. Then the last layer is the endothelium. Corneal endothelium is a simple squamous epithelium. Endothelial cells are hexagonal, which forms a continuous mosaic pattern, best seen in specular microscopy. Cell density at birth is 6,000 cells per micrometer square, and in young adults 2,500 to 3,000 cells per square micrometer millimeter. Sorry. The endothelial cells cannot divide or replicate. With aging, the cell density of the endothelium decreases, which is compensated by an increase in the cell size or shape. As these endothelial cells are involved in corneal hydration, they help in maintenance of corneal transparency. The blood supply of cornea. The cornea is a vascular structure. Small loops derived from the anterior ciliary vessels invade its periphery for about 1 mm. Actually, these loops are not in cornea but in the subconjunctival tissue which overlaps the cornea. Then the nerve supply of the cornea. Cornea is supplied by the anterior ciliary nerves, which are branches of the ophthalmic division of fifth cranial nerve. After going about 2 mm in cornea, the nerve loses their myelin sheath and divide dichotomously and forms three plexus: stromal plexus, subepithelial plexus, and the intraepithelial plexus. Then the applied physiology of cornea. Primary physiological functions of the cornea are to act as a major refractive medium and to protect the intraocular contents. Then the last point is corneal transparency. It is a result of peculiar arrangement of corneal lamellae, peculiar refractive index of corneal lamellae, vascularity of the cornea, relative state of dehydration, swelling pressure trauma counters the imbibition effect of IOP, and corneal crystallines, water-soluble proteins of the keratocytes. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please write in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank